This No Bake Pumpkin Pie Cheesecake is creamy and delicious. Plus bonus, it doesn't require an oven to make. Filled with spices, you'll definitely be wanting more than one slice. Welcome to Recipes by Karina, where I share with you how to make classic and simply delicious recipes. Make sure to subscribe or follow my page for a new recipe each week. First, we'll need to make the base to this cheesecake, and we want to go with something quite crunchy to give a bit of texture to the creamy cheesecake filling. I'm using Gingernut biscuits or cookies here, which are pretty similar to Ginger Snap or any type of hard, crunchy ginger flavoured cookie. Ginger works really perfectly with the pumpkin flavour of the cheesecake, but if you would prefer, you can use any other type of cookie you would like. You'll need crumbs, and these are quite hard and crunchy, so a food processor works best, but you could do it by hand using something heavy like a fry pan or rolling pin. Just be prepared for it taking a bit of time. If you'd like the full recipe for this No Bake Pumpkin Pie Cheesecake, it will be on my website as well as the full measurements listed below. Let me know in the comments what other flavours of no bake cheesecakes you would like me to make. I've made so many different flavours now: chocolate, berry, peanut butter, salted caramel, Oreo. Although if I was picking favourites, I think I'd have to go with chocolate. Simple, rich, but delicious. When your cookies have turned into pretty fine crumbs, make sure there are no larger pieces hiding and tip it out into a small bowl. To make them hold together and get the right texture, we'll need half a cup, 1 stick or 110 grams of butter. You'll notice I give the recipe amounts in cups and grams, so no matter where you are in the world, this recipe should be easy enough to follow. Add the butter to a small bowl and melt it either in the microwave for about 30 seconds or so, or in a small saucepan over low heat. Pour the melted butter into the small bowl with the cookie crumbs, and using a wooden spoon, combine the ingredients together until you have the texture and look of clumpy wet sand. For no-bake cheesecakes, it's easiest to use a springform cake pan. I'll usually put paper on the bottom, but with the removable sides, it just makes it so much easier to take it out of the pan. I'm using an 8-inch or 20cm cake pan, but if you have a different size, it will still work. Your cheesecake will just be higher or lower, depending if it's smaller or larger. Pour the cheesecake base into the cake pan, and using the back of the spoon or a flat bottom of a glass, press it into an even layer all the way around. Place the cake pan into the fridge to set the base while we work on the filling. For the filling, we'll need 2 cups or 500 ml of cream. Make sure your cream is about 35% fat. I get quite a lot of questions about why cream won't whip, and most likely it's because it's the wrong type of cream. There are so many different names depending on where you live. Where I live, we just have cream and light cream, but you may have whipping cream, double cream, or heavy cream, so checking the fat percentage is your best bet. Whip it to the softly whipped stage using a hand mixer or a whisk. I'll usually do it by hand as I don't find it takes too long. Just one tip here, make sure it's not cold, as you may have problems with your cheesecake splitting when it's mixed with the cream cheese, so make sure all your ingredients are at room temperature before you start. You want the cream to just be holding its shape, as it will get whipped more as it's mixed with the remaining ingredients. If we whip it fully now, by the time we mix it with the rest of the cheesecake filling, it would have over whipped. Set it to the side while we prep the remaining ingredients. In a larger bowl, add 250 grams or 9 ounces of cream cheese, making sure it's at room temperature. To the cream cheese, we're going to add a couple of different types of sugar to sweeten everything up. Because we are using pumpkin in this recipe, it does need a little more sugar than I would usually use in a cheesecake. Measure out 1 cup or 125 grams of icing sugar, powdered sugar or confectioner's sugar. All the same ingredient, just different names depending on where you live in the world. To the icing sugar, we're also going to add half a cup or 100 grams of brown sugar. I like to use brown sugar to give the cheesecake a bit more of a caramel flavour that goes so well with the spices and pumpkin. Measure this out and add it to the bowl. Using a whisk, combine the sugars and cream cheese together until slightly whipped and smooth. You can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer here, as it's probably faster, but it's no drama to do it with a whisk. The cream cheese should be soft, so whip it together until light and smooth. It'll look really lumpy and bitsy at first, but continue until it comes together. For this cheesecake, we're using a cup of pumpkin puree, which is about half of a can. You can make your own puree if you would like. This is a great way of using up leftover pumpkin. If you're using canned or even making your own, it's a great idea to place it over paper towels or a kitchen towel first to absorb up any extra liquid, as it does have quite a lot that can make the cheesecake weep a bit after it's been sitting out of the fridge. Add the pumpkin puree to the bowl along with your spices. You can skip all these spices and use pumpkin pie spice if you would prefer. A couple teaspoons will be perfect. If you're using the different spices, you'll need nutmeg, which will give a nutty kind of sweet flavour. It's really strong, so only a quarter teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, which is nearly everyone's favourite spice, so I don't think I really need to explain the flavour in that one. And finally, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, which will also carry on the flavour from the cheesecake base. Let me know in the comments below if you've had pumpkin flavoured baked goods or food in general. Where I live, it's really common to use pumpkin in savoury dishes like soup or risotto, or just roasted in the oven. But if you haven't tried it sweet, you definitely need to. I've made pumpkin pie, pumpkin cupcakes with cream cheese frosting, and now pumpkin cheesecake, so there are a few different recipes to try. My favourite out of the 3 would have to be the cupcakes though, filled with spice and topped with cream cheese. Give the filling a really good mix to combine, making sure you don't have any lumps of the cream cheese. Lastly, to finish the cheesecake filling off, we just need to add the whipped cream. Add it to the bowl, and using the whisk, try to fold it together, making sure to scrape down the sides of the bowl. Since it wasn't fully whipped at the start, we don't have to worry here about over whipping it. This cheesecake doesn't need anything to set it, just make sure to serve it straight out of the fridge, as it will start to become soft as it warms up. If you would prefer to set it if you want to have it sitting out at room temperature, it's best to use 2 teaspoons of gelatin dissolved in about 1 tablespoon of boiling water. Pour the cheesecake filling into the cake tin and smooth it out using an offset spatula. It'll need to sit in the fridge for at least 4 hours, or overnight is usually best. I like to serve it topped with whipped cream. You can either spoon this over each slice or pipe it on top like I'm doing here. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to try this cheesecake and what cheesecake flavour you would like me to make next. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe or like my page, and I will see you on my next video.